It is a province on the move, Saskatchewan, and it's home of the 2014 Subaru Saskatoon Triathlon. Brought to you by Tourism Saskatoon, the Saskatoon Triathlon Association, and by Team in Training. Allison Hooper, your women's leader. Remember, coming out of the water, she had more than a minute lead, but that advantage slipping away. Alexandra Coates now less than 30 seconds back, but a bigger concern, and what a concern it is. Here she comes. Melanie McQuaid living up to the expectation and going by as she moves into second. So now just one woman to catch Allison Hooper.
McQuaid is having the ride that we expected. Wow, that is world class to ride into those women so early on this ride. And look at her equipment. She's got that disc back wheel. So she's a pro. She brought the right equipment. That disc wheel will actually act as a sail for her.
Of course, it's all about the dynamics. And John Bird also has that disc wheel, remembering now that he came out of the water with a minute lead over the men, now trying to chase down the women at the same time as holding off his pursuers. Still, he does have concerns both behind and in front. Second for the men, Brent McMahon, the two-time Subaru Chase champion. In second for the women, Melanie McQuaid, a multiple Xterra World champion, a pair of friends and training partners. And earlier this year, they had a chance to win together at Ironman 70.3 Boise.
I think it was just really fun that the two of us kind of went into the race. We were both really relaxed about what was going to happen. You never know, 2 weeks in a row. But to have it work out for both of us is like, I could be really happy for him, and then I could also be really happy for myself, which is a pretty happy day. Brent is he's the most genuine, honest, thoughtful, just the nicest guy. And underneath that is also just a really intense and talented and focused competitor, and I just really respect how he can balance, honestly, finally getting the recognition for the talent of an athlete that he is. I mean, he's been to 2 Olympics.
His main goal this year, winning the Ironman 70.3 World Championship taking place right here in Canada. As the runner-up and 2013 champion at the Ironman 70.3 US Championship, he has established himself as one of the favorites. It is a race he and McQuaid will focus on together. Brent McMahon, Ironman 70.3 Boise champion.
Yeah, Melanie McQuaid, she's a good friend of mine. We're both from Victoria. We've known each other for a long time, and we trained together. We both came off 70.3 wins in Boise just a couple of weeks ago. So we both know we're really fit. So we're looking at each other, we're sizing each other up, and we both know we're probably, the top athletes in this event.
So many are expecting a McQuaid-McMahon battle to the line, but of course, this is not a two-person race. So it continues to be John Bird out in front for the men. He's gaining on the women ahead of him and holding off the charge of the men behind. As for Brent McMahon out of Victoria, not making up the kind of time we expected. In fact, he has plenty of company, unlike a year ago when he took the men's lead in the water and was really never challenged by anyone else. Sean Bechtel, Caledon, Ontario, currently third. He was right behind McMahon out of the water and right there on the bike as well.
I've known Brent McMahon since 2003 when we went to the Pan American Games together, and he's always been a huge and tough competitor, and he's going to run fast. So to be able to beat him will take a special effort by anybody, but that's why we race, because they don't hand him the title before we start.
So Bechtel right there challenging, but not without a challenge of his own. Another Caledon athlete, Taylor Reed, right there, goes in to third place.
What a race for Taylor Reed, a former Kids of Steel athlete, not in that swim group coming out of the water, so he's rowed all the way up to these really, really strong men. And there's Jeff Simons. What a great day he's having. Right where he wants to be with those leaders. He's looking strong as well, nice and arrow on that bike.
Always a factor. Now, McQuaid, unaware of what's happening behind her, but she knows what is happening in front. Look at this, Melanie McQuaid, 2:09, back out of the water. She is now your leader here at the Subaru Chase.
Boy, she looks good, and now she's only chasing that Subaru car up in front. She has put all the other women behind her exactly where she wants to be. What an incredible world-class ride.
So Allison Hooper now second, but you can see there's the distance. Alexandra Coates continues in third. She's closing in as all roads lead to Saskatoon. Welcome back to Saskatchewan. Cowboys, cowgirls, still very much a part of life here in Saskatchewan. Triathletes becoming a part of the landscape as well. The competitors at the Subaru Saskatoon Triathlon still on the bike.
Is this your first triathlon?
Yeah,
How's it feel?
so far so good. Ask me at the end of the bike. The bike's my worst part.
In 2009, Carplock won the Gemini Award for the best performance by an actress in a continuing leading dramatic role as the star of Being Erica.
I used to be a rising star, but these days, I just feel like a flame out.
WTP Insurance, this is Erica speaking. How can I help you?
Her chosen role today, to bring awareness to animals, including one of the stars of SPCA in Saskatoon, Eunice, the therapy pig.
Welcome to the Saskatoon SPCA.
Oh my gosh. Hi. It doesn't take a lot, and for what you get out of it, like so much love. You get so much love and entertainment and companionship, and there's just so many amazing animals that need families, and they can't speak up for themselves. So, yeah.
You can really tell that she's speaking from the heart, genuinely loves animals, and as she said, animals can't speak up for themselves. So anytime somebody wants to be a champion for animals, it's pretty amazing. And it just really seemed like she's a really great kindred spirit, and we wish her a lot of luck on the triathlon. I think that's going to be really exciting. I know all the animals here will be rooting for her.
Even if you can't have an animal in your life, if you feel like you don't have the time or the means to spread awareness about it or to donate funds, because it's not for profit, these organizations, and they run solely based on your donations. And I mean, it does work. The results are amazing.
Help us spread the word. Spay, neuter animals. Canada's coming a really long way, but we still have a little ways to go. We definitely need to get that message out. Adopt, don't shop. Come to a shelter before you get an animal. Give a homeless animal a home. That's the best thing that you can do. And believe me, they will pay you back.
For me, my cat is such a source of company for me. I can't even tell you, and she's this stray cat, and there's animals that are therapy animals, and there's dogs that have saved, officers' lives, and I mean, the thing with animals is that there's just this unconditional love that they give you. They don't judge. They don't, like, I can come home in a bad mood, and my cat she just loves me, and I just think that it's so special to bond. Serenity's like, I want to go for a run. I'm tired of this.
Take Serenity for a run.
Okay, we're out of here. We're blowing this pop stand. Thanks very much.
Now, Erin's goal was to raise about $2,500 for the SPCA. She's closing in on $10,000. Carpluck and all the competitors now continue to enjoy this beautiful ride through the countryside, 40 kilometers in total. As we go back to the pros, and Melanie McQuaid opening up her advantage here at the Subaru Chase. And considering the wind, if you were able to draft, you might be able to pick up some ground, but drafting isn't allowed.
This is a non-drafting race. You have to have at least 10 meters between each bike unless you're passing. So for somebody like McQuaid, that's a big advantage. She wants to be low and narrow and have nobody on the back wheel.
The other thing is she's only given up 2 minutes to the men. Alexandra Coates on that borrowed bike. How do you think she's done?
Well, she seems to be holding her own, so good for her with somebody else's equipment.
As for the men, John Bird, he's still number one, having a great ride himself. However, he is still 10 minutes back of McQuaid and another minute back, Brent McMahon. Boy, you know that he's here to win. The biggest goal this year, though, is to take that Ironman 70.3 World Championship right here in Canada. Once again, Lance Watson.
Over a 25-year coaching career, I've been fortunate enough to work with some of Canada's greatest athletes. My longest coach-athlete relationship is with Brent McMahon. Brent came to me as a fresh-faced 14-year-old at a junior development camp some 17 years ago, and has since gone on to qualify for Olympics and win major international events. When I think about the long-term athlete development plan for an athlete, it's learn to train, learn to race, and learn to win. In the learn to train, learn to race phase, Brent was lucky enough to be mentored by athletes like Simon Whitfield, Lisa Bentley, multiple Ironman champion, train alongside Peter Reed, and see how those athletes handled themselves day in and day out and how they interacted with their coach as well. Brent's now focused on the learn to win phase. Brent is striving for the Ironman 70.3 World Championship in Mont-Tremblant, Quebec, where he's considered a favorite for the victory. The table is set for a win in Canada and the perfect finish to a 17-year coach-athlete relationship.
And those World Championships will take place in Mont-Tremblant. However, right now, McMahon, with other things on his mind, Taylor Reed making a move on McMahon, and Reed is now in second place for the men.
That's huge. Reed going by an Olympian established athlete like Brent McMahon. That's so good for a young guy's confidence, and he looks great. Now, McMahon's the better runner. McMahon can run a 31-minute 10K off the bike, so Reed will have to think about that.
So McMahon gets by Saskatoon's Monica Mastermate. Oh, look at this. Sean Bechtel goes by McMahon too.
Yeah, look at that. Lots of passes going on. What an exciting race. And normally Brent wouldn't let an athlete like Bechtel go by him like that. So we have to wonder right now, he's been racing a lot. Is he a bit tired?
Again, you point out, McMahon, the run is his real strength. Oh, could that be saying something right there as he just grabs his left thigh?
It certainly is. It's saying a lot because he wants to keep his power up, and there's no power when you're not pushing the pedal like that.
The race may be far from over, but for the women's leader, Melanie McQuaid, the bike will soon come to an end. She is now all alone and the one to catch here at the Chase.
How are you doing, Saskatoon?
Calgary's indie pop duo, Tegan and Sarah. The sisters, one of the many performers including John Legend, Lauryn Hill in what has also become an annual event, the Saskatoon Jazz Festival, and the Subaru Saskatoon Triathlon, all taking place in downtown Saskatoon, and that is exactly where we find Melanie McQuaid, world-class bike, takes control of this race now, Paul, as she begins to work away on a 10K run.
What a great ride by McQuaid. Now, she doesn't want to lose any time in this transition. You lose 30 seconds here, it could cost you. Last year's race was decided by only 14 seconds. She already ran around to the wrong side of the transition, cost her a couple seconds, but she looks pretty good going out.
Meanwhile, out on the course, 6K behind, John Bird, still on his bike, as Melanie McQuaid heads out now. It's a 10-kilometer run, 2 loops, up and down both sides of the South Saskatchewan River. On her way, of course, there are 7 bridges they have to go over. Meanwhile, Alexandra Coates, she's the first to take up the chase, but she is nearly 7 minutes back.
Well, she made it in on that borrowed bike and looks pretty good. Now, she'll be thinking, can I reach Mel? Can I get ahead? That's 7 minutes, but she's worrying about everybody coming from behind as well.
And one of those coming from behind, of course, is our men's leader out of Calgary. That's John Bird. But he's already getting some pressure, too, because Taylor Reed is continuing to surprise here. Really has made up for it.
He has. He just blew a kiss, very comfortable. It shows that he's relaxed and confident. And maybe the race of his life today.
And that's in stark contrast to our defending champion, Brent McMahon. What's going on?
Never a good sign when the foot comes off the pedal like that. He's just waved off the cameraman. Terrible body language. He's feeling pretty defeated right now.
It's an off day, you know? A lot of good races in the past, and just need some time to recover some days. That's how it goes.
McMahon finds himself 2:30 behind the leading man, 11 minutes behind the overall leader. Another of the former leaders, Allison Hooper, next one out onto the run, and she has Edmonton's Alexandra Gordichuk right there with her. And now, here come the men. John Bird will be the first off the bike, but look at this. Taylor Reed is right there.
Yeah, Reed's a very solid runner. He's an Olympic distance specialist, so this could be interesting. You know, if he has the run he can, there is a chance he could see the lead here with McQuaid.
So Bird and Reed heading out, and remember now, they are chasing 4 women. Melanie McQuaid is the overall leader. And it's really getting busy in transition. Jeff Simons, Sean Bechtel, they're now 7th and 8th overall, but still no sign of the defending champion. Taylor Reed just getting by John Bird, so he's 5th overall. The women, his next targets. Jeff Simons is up to 7th, been on the podium every year. Meanwhile, all this happening at transition, and Melanie McQuaid just keeps knocking off the king.
Well, she's worked on a run this year, so she'd like to have a good solid run, but her game now is to basically survive this run, keep that big lead she gained on her incredible bike, and not let anybody come near her. So really, she's trying to run away, not let them see her, and stay out of sight.
Well, I like the competition. I think it's really healthy to challenge yourself to be the best that you can be. And I really enjoy preparing for a triathlon because the training is so varied that it's never the same thing every day. And it's a sport where it's strategic, where depending on what your strengths are, you could win the race in a different way. And I think that's exciting.
And here he is, finally into transition in the very unfamiliar 10th place. Double digits behind your leader, McQuaid, really looking as if there will be a new champion when you consider Melanie McQuaid just an hour on the bike, nearly 7 minutes ahead of her nearest competitor as we take a look at 6 through 10. There is a lot still on the line. McQuaid hasn't won anything yet here in Saskatoon. The gathering of the snow geese, just some of the beauty here in Saskatchewan, the land of the living sky. The 2014 Subaru Saskatoon Triathlon is brought to you by Subaru, confidence in motion. The city of Saskatoon and the rural municipality of Corman Park. And Paul, we have more changes now in the Subaru Chase. Kellen's Taylor Reed making a charge. It's gotten by Allison Hooper, so Reed's 3rd overall. Coates and McQuaid are his next targets. And Bird has gotten by Alexandra Gordichuk, so he's 5th overall. And here comes Jeff Simons as he gets by Gordichuk right here. But look, up here, you made a mistake. You got to come back, Mr. Bird. He was supposed to turn right. He has to backtrack, loses 2 places. That is a huge mistake.
Pretty big mental mistake there. We sometimes say the blood isn't in the head, it's in the legs, and I think he just lost some concentration there and went off course, but he did come back onto the course where he left, so he is not disqualified.
All right, here we go again. Jeff Simons now getting past Allison Hooper. He's into 4th place overall. He needs to get by one more person to keep his podium consecutive streak alive. Taylor Reed continues to cut into the deficit of the 2 women ahead. 2nd place is coming back to him all the time. Alexandra Coates desperately trying to hold on. Reed, however, her 2-minute advantage is now just 45 seconds. And way up the road, Melanie McQuaid she has been in a league of her own all day here at the Subaru Chase. The amateurs are beginning to move onto the run course as well. One final discipline before the finish. Erin Carpluck, well, she's completed that 40K bike. And Paul, this is her first ever triathlon. We can't forget that.
She looks great. She's smiling. She's doing really well. She didn't realize until she got to the SPCA that she actually had to bike 40K. She thought it was 25K. So she's doing fantastic. She looks great.
So it's amateurs and professionals now. And remember Jericho O'Connell, that's him in the red and blue. He was part of the swim lead group at one point in time, but he's fallen back, along with Thomas Brown of Edmonton. So for Erin and the others, it is a run to the finish line. Taylor Reed has continued his charge, now second. Just one woman remains to catch, but that is a tall order. To start the run, now less than 3K to go, and that begins to look a little bit impossible.
Well, he's put some time into McQuaid for sure. At 3K to go, it'd be at least 5 minutes in now, but it was 8 minutes difference, and that's a long ways to go.
And then there's Melanie McQuaid, of course. She looks like she has no weakness right now, putting it into cruise control as the battles continue behind her, such as Alexandra Coates, unable to hold off Taylor Reed. She now has another of the men to deal with, Jeff Simon. Look at the stride. Came off that bike 7th, has been moving through the field. Simon's now taking over 3rd place. It is McQuaid with just a few kilometers of work remaining. When we come back, it is the finish of the Subaru Saskatoon Chase.
We've got the women's champion, the overall champion, going to be heading to the line, and here she is. She's going to take the chase.
She told everyone before the race to forget about her, that she was out of her weight class, and then she landed that knockout punch. Melanie McQuaid proving she's one of the very best at any distance. 2 wins for the men at the Chase, and now 2 for the women. Melanie McQuaid is your winner.
Solid in the water, solid on the run, but that bike today, she absolutely crushed it.
Unbelievable to think that she was more than 2 minutes back out of the water.
I really enjoy this format. It's really fun because you don't know what's going on behind you, and actually nobody even tells you what's going on, so I didn't really know where I was, which is an exciting way to race and really helps you to try and get the most out of yourself. And this is a really hard race. It's a great event, and it's a super fun city to come visit, and everyone here is amazingly friendly. So yeah, I'll be sharpening the tools for next year.
Some changes here. Here he is, young Taylor Reed out.
And with the run of the day from Caledon, Ontario, Taylor Reed with the best performance of his young career as he takes the runner-up honors here in Saskatoon.
So, breakthrough race for you here at the Subaru Chase.
Well, very much. I was not expecting this at all. This is a great, great experience. I'm so happy.
He has been at every Subaru Chase and never off the podium. A 2nd and now 3/3 for Penticton's Jeff Simon. The medal presented by Janice Chassever of Subaru Saskatoon.
The Subaru Chase is amazing in that it just draws the best athletes out. You see we've got guys now from all the way Vancouver Island, the guys out east from Ontario. They're all coming here because they love the atmosphere, they love the mix-up, they love the competition of chasing the girls, and it's great. I mean, it's great to see world-class racing in Canada.
And on an off day, Brent McMahon still fights his way up into 4th place, and there to greet him, the other half of the M&Ms, Melanie McQuaid. And with a late push, more than 2 hours later, Sean Becker, Caledon, Ontario, will cross the line in 5th. And in 6th, Alexandra Coates. And remember how her day started with all the questions about that borrowed bike. What a performance by Alexandra Coates. She is the second of the women to finish. And so it is, Paul, Melanie McQuaid, and the men, a great performance by the Victoria Triathlon.
What a race by Melanie McQuaid. She has just bested 4 incredible men, including a 2-time Olympian, the bronze medalist at the Ironman 70.3 World Championships, the under-23 national champion, and a Pan Am Games team member. She has represented the women brilliantly, and she's 41 years old. How about that?
It is Ladies' Day here in Saskatoon. Congratulations to Melanie McQuaid. Remember, she came out of the water more than 2 minutes behind. She finishes in 2:08 flat, and she wins by 2:40 over Taylor Reed, Jeff Simons, Brent McMahon, and Sean Beckman. So the professionals have wrapped up their day, but of course, there are so many other stories to be told. And what they all share is a sense of accomplishment, perhaps a chance to reconnect with their youth.
It makes me feel good because I love the variety. I don't have to just do one thing, I get to do 3 different things. So I love the variety, and it makes me feel good. It makes me feel really healthy, and it keeps me young.
This is my very first one. I've never done it. I've been running for about 14 years, but as a kid I biked all the time, and swimming was my passion, so I thought, what the heck?
It's just fun. It's nice to get out, and we're not particularly good at any one sport, but you don't have to be. You just have to get out and try it.
There are the first-timers, there are the veterans, there are people of all ages and all backgrounds. And at the finish line, when you cross, it is a celebration. And no one will ever forget Simon Whitfield and his gold medal performance in Sydney in 2000. Aidan Katz of Regina with his tribute to Canada's Olympian. Maybe there's a gold medal in Aidan's future too.
Nicole Shute just ahead of him. She takes the sprint and he takes the Olympic. Holly Clark from Saskatoon is here as well. This race last year, 1:58 and change, so it looks like a 2:05 clocking for John Stick.
And here she comes. Erin Karpluk has completed her first ever triathlon, and in the process, bringing a lot of funding and awareness to SPCA chapters.
I mean, this year's been crazy. I went 2 bucket lists. I went skydiving and I did this. And I was more nervous for the skydiving, but this is just like, it was, training for months and stuff, and it's a really fun, awesome accomplishment, and I'm happy. And it's only a sprint tri, but I'm really happy, and I'm so happy that my parents came out and we got a bit of exposure for charity. And thanks for coming, Mom and Dad!
And there's one final story to be told. Alexandra Coates, 6th in the chase, has been waiting for Dana Muma, who gave up her bike so Alexandra could race. Dana did the run anyway. She's a champion in our book. And now, on behalf of all of us, thank you for joining us for the 2014 running of the Subaru Saskatoon Triathlon from beautiful Saskatchewan on TSN.